you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxus map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. Starting off with Team 1 in the north, ending with Team 2 in the southeast. Starting off with Team 1's northeastern player, then going clockwise, we have in Batman Gray, Seal Force as an Aeon for this match as a 1400. To his southwest in Amethyst Purple is the Seraphim player of Sizal, and he is a 1600. And in Ember Green to his southwest is Ninra, a UEF as a 1300. And rounding out Team 1's front line in Pac-Man Yellow is Guys as a Cybran as a 1300. In the northwestern corner here for Team 1 in Tropical Ocean Blue is a Cybran of Buttons. He is a 1700. He is the highest rated player on Team 1. And in the middle of the map here, most likely the Eco slot, he is the UEF player of Tabernacle as a 1500. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have at least one of each of the factions with 2 UEF and 2 Cybran. And I will make a note, Team 1 on their front line is a Cybran, a UEF, a Seraphim, and an Aeon. So all the factions are on the front line. I think I rarely see that, so it is kind of nice to see that once in a while. Starting off with Team 2's southwestern player, then going clockwise as well. We have in Regal Purple, excuse me, Big Boy Daddy. He is a Cybran as a 1300. To his northeast in Snow White is Mav 7119 as a 1600. In Barbie Pink to his northeast is Dorset as a UEF. He is an 1100. And in Royal Blue is Rakarim. We call him Rim for short. He is a Seraphim as an 1100. To his south, way far in the corner here, is Will-O-Wisp. He is a UES as a 2200, the highest rated player on Team 2 and in the game overall. And in the equal slot here for Team 2 in lightest red pink is Balfron. He is a 1500. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have 3 UEF, 2 Seraphim, and 1 Cybran. Team 2 lacks the Aeon faction. And for these 12 players on the map, let's take a look at how much income they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at, drumroll please, 10,000 match, which isn't a lot. It isn't nothing, but again, it's about 800 to 900 match per player. Most of it does reside on Team 1 and Team 2's respective sides of the map, but there is a little bit in the middle, couple of some wrecks, and a nice little Salem or 2 dotted around. We even see some engineers inbound from Team 1's Guys to scoop up Team 2's side of the reclaim. And speaking of mass, Team 1 side of the map in terms of mexes, there's a Trimex position over here to the west, and a couple of just mexes dotted around the rest of their lineup. Nothing really else stands out. I guess you could kind of call that a twin mex in the middle. Maybe. I think it's a little bit too far spread, but again, there's really nothing nearby, so it's that or nothing. So really the map is going to be a little bit slower in terms of getting up to the T3, T4 stages of the game, just due to the fact that there's not a lot of mexes, and most of them, even at 3.5 minutes, have mostly already been grabbed. I keep pushing the wrong button. There we go. We do see that Team 2's Regal Purple player of Big Boy Daddy going for a nice little Cybran facility, not on the nice little cut down the middle in terms of the water, but going on the southern edge of the map. It will put his facility very well protected. Of course, it doesn't allow him to really escape any sort of nonsense. He's going to be stuck here for a little bit, so there's really no way to put maybe a facility back here, because it's just going to bottleneck right here with this facility in terms of pathfinding. So really that is the best spot to put it, but it's just one of those kind of, either you put it kind of tucked back into the corner where it's kind of hard to get units out, or you put it on the front lines and it's a little bit more vulnerable to damage. Of course, the Cybran comms will reign a little bit more supreme, at least in the early to mid stages of this game, because there is a decent chunk of water. This reminds me of that earlier map I cast. It's a little bit different. There isn't that kind of weird, I mean, there is kind of a midpoint kind of, kill box, but besides that, I mean, this is a wide open area. I don't think a lot of players are going to essentially fight over here. Maybe if more players put facilities on the edges, but I don't really see that really being the case here from either of the teams. For the majority here, we do see Guys and Ninra putting their facilities in the middle, and then we have 2 facilities right next to one another for Sizon, and CO4, same thing going down here for Team 2's Mirrors. No facility online as of yet here for Mav. He's gone for gun. So it looks like he's going to traverse the map and try to take out Right Guys, his main base. It could work. The only problem, of course, is that is a risky play. Just sending his comm forward. There is a nice little sub online here for Ninra, just a Tiger Shark, and a nice little T1 sonar system to just help with radar gathering. Another one in the middle of the map here for Right Guys as well, which gives them a little bit of an idea of what's going on in the middle. Nothing too dangerous. If they're paying attention, they may think that's a sub. It is, of course, moving slower than what a sub would move. We do see a Tiger Shark is moving in to intercept. First comm damage, most likely here in the game, is done to Mav's con. Gun has been started for Right Guys' commander. And it looks like a couple of air units kind of have a nice little tussle over here in that eastern corner. It does look like Team 1's a little bit ahead in that game, but of course the main air players of Team 1 going to be Buttons and Will-O-Wisp. We're upgrading to T3 as we speak. Well, upgrading to at least T2, but soon to be T3 here shortly. But weirdly enough, the facility here for Team 1's Buttons is not up to T3, not even T2, excuse me, I keep saying T3. So it looks like Team 1's middle player here of Tabernacle, he has T2 air online, so maybe it'll be dual air players for Team 1 and dual air players for Team 2 as well, it looks like. I guess in this scenario, it's better to go for air and have a secondary player than to go for land, especially with this kind of big chunk of water. And I will point out this map has a lot more land mass in terms of map than the other map that I casted a week or so ago, however long it goes. So there's more land to traverse. I think in general, maybe I'm wrong about that. This is a full 20 by 20 map. I just feel like the way the land was cut, it was a little bit more water. We do see in the south a couple of frigates moving in and holding position for the facility. T1 sub is online though, unfortunately here for Right Guys, so frigates don't have any sort of anti-torpedo defenses. But T2 Navy is coming online here soon for Big Boy, which the Salems do have that. T1 bombers overhead. Mav trying to make a desperate play. Right Guys moving in to intercept. I think this might just be a fool's errand at this point. He's already dropped pretty much at the 50% mark. We even see some T1 bombers inbound from Buttons as well. He takes out a mechs, and now the comm of Right Guys is nearby, and that's going to be the very first comm-on-comm action. Tactical missile has been started for Tabernacle, and it just not going to work out here for Mav. It was an interesting strategy to say the least, but Team 1 was able to counter it quite nicely, and that is unfortunate here. Team 2 loses the first player of the game at almost 9 minutes on the clock, dropping this to a 6v5. Tactical missile is, of course, being onboarded here for Tabernacle. He is UEF, so he can build the Billy Nuke. And Ninra going for T2 as well. Maybe there'll be dual Billy Nukes here in the middle. The Right Guy's saying, but why? Nothing to do in that slot. I just block, says Mav. I don't say that. I mean, he could have helped out with Navy. Team 1 is leading the Navy in the middle of the map here so far, at least on the western side. That's just due to the fact that Team 2's Mav didn't go for a naval facility. Actually, looks like maybe he did. It just got denied very easily. But Big Boy is focusing on T2 units, actually going for Barracudas, not Salems, which will, of course, nullify the attack power of the Zeus inbound here from Team 1. And, of course, be able to fight back against the mainly Team 1 forces here from Team 1. But we do see, of course, T2 coming online. Looks like Destroyer first, then Cruiser. Yep, it is going to be a Destroyer first here for Ninra. And T2 coming online here for Right Guys here shortly. So we do see the main alcoves of facilities here for Team 1 in these kind of bay areas. So again, it's nice for protection. It's nice for layering. But in terms of blockades, it's just not great because everything is right there. There's really no way to escape unless more facilities are built. Secondary facility on the eastern side here for Rim, just to again have a nice little facility over there just in case. T2 not coming online yet as for him, but T2 Destroyer online for Dorset. And T2 coming online for Battlefront's commander. He has T3 air online, and so does his teammate of Will-O-Wisp, which means Team 1 probably has T3, no, Janus, and T3 is being started here by Button. So Team 2 has a significant advantage in the fact that they have two players that are at T3 air tech, which means we could see early bomber out of at least one, if not both of them. Of course, they have to build engineers and get power in that situation first, and then they'll go for the actual ASF or bombers or gunships. They could be gunships. They are both UEF, in fact, so they have access to that broadsword. Tactical missile, of course, being launched by Tabernacle's commander, going after mexes. And he's going to do a decent job so far, taking out 1 and 2 and 3. I think there was one over there taken out. And number 4 going to be taken offline. Engineers trying to assist, but unfortunately there isn't a lot of T2 here, which means TMD is not going to be built, and that is not great for Team 2 over here. Tabernacle, of course, now focusing on the main section of landmass for Big Boy. And Big Boy, of course, has those Barracudas online. Team 1 bombers over here, as well as a nice little gunship. Nice little jester, but unfortunately, I don't know where that's really going to go. It looks like they're going to intercept the T2 mexers over here. Yep, that's what they're going for. And they'll do some damage, but nothing too catastrophic. The main damage dealer here for Team 1 is this Tactical Missile Commander of Tabernacle. That's another 9 mass a second that Team 2 is going to lose. And it's really eating away at Big Boy's eco. We do say that Will-O-Wisp is over 100 mass per second, even at 13 minutes on the clock here. So he is really pumping out mass and really keeping Team 2 in a fighting way in terms of the eco situation, especially with Big Boy losing essentially a base worth of mass. We do see Team D online, but Barracuda is going to rip through most of these defenses quite nicely, and that Salem is probably going to wish he stayed home. Barracuda, unfortunately, is not the end-all, be-all, and that Barracuda will be forced to retreat. It's the whole 1,430 hit points versus 7,500. Even though it has Torp defense online, it's just not enough. We do see Tabernacle is going to start taking some damage from the Salem here. Tactical missile has been started for Balfron as well, so we have another player going for that missile advantage. We do see some destroyers in the water going after the T2 naval headquarters here for Dorset. Dorset is most likely going to lose it, and with only 350 hit points, one shot will do it. T2 is now coming online, but it's a little bit too late at this point. Team 1 is winning the naval game in essentially every avenue. And in the northeast, I thought I saw a transport. There it is. Drops off a couple of some fervors. Does get a couple of shots off going after a T2 Max. Rim's just like, nope, not going to deal with that. We'll lose a T2 Max, but could have lost a lot more. Love the play from Seal Force. That was probably definitely worth it for the mass cost. Oh yeah, that was worth the mass cost, especially with the 6 max a second that Team 2 is losing. And Rim's talking to Dorset about what the heck's going on over there. T3 coming online here for Will-O-Wisp. T2 coming online here for Dorset. I did not see early bomber outbound from Team 2. We do see a mech down. Actually, we see a couple of mexes down. So there's another one up there. Maybe bomber came in, but those look like only T1 mexes, not T2. Well, I think those are T1 mexes. No, those are T2 mexes. Okay, maybe not. So a bomber did go through, I guess, at some point, but I didn't really see what really happened. It took out 3 mexes, it looks like, so it's not too bad, but nothing great. Missile is outbound, though, from Bafron. He snipes the T2 naval headquarters for Ninra. The T2 one here for Rygei's is still online. Transport inbound with a Continental. Trying to drop off a couple of engineers. Will the engineers reach their target? Looks like they will. Rygei's is trying to move in and intercept. And are these just going to build PD? Yes, they are. Transport going to continue to go. Needs to drop immediately. Does drop. Immediately builds PD. Oh, and runs into a couple of some Wagners. That's not a great situation to be in. Most of those engineers are going to get wiped out by the engineers from Team 1's Rygei's and the other units nearby. And they will lose most of that support. T2 facility building those Wagners. Looks like they're taking out the AA, and now they're taking out the T2 land headquarters. I do love the attempt, just dropping off some engineers. I don't think it's going to grab the headquarters, though, unfortunately, but I do love it, and it will force Rygei's to spend a little bit more mass and energy going for AA. Tabernacle pokes his head out of the water, fires a missile, and goes right back inside. Another Max is going to go down. Team D going to be hastily built. I don't know if it's going to be there in time. It's not, and does claim that T2 Max. Team 1 is at 450. seems to be power related most likely, because they were definitely above Team 2, but maybe something else happened. Well, they're all positive, so that is the actual mass they're producing. I don't see any real reason why. Maybe Team 2 is just upgrading to T3 mechs. This drop bomber is online, though, for Will-O-Wisp, and he has got it to 15,000 mass killed. So, yeah, that definitely got a lot of stuff killed off. And that definitely had a, I think, bombing run and then came back home. Again, 15,000 mass, though. That is definitely worth the mass cost for a bomber. And more T2 Torp bombers going after Tabernacle's commander. He's back up into the green. He's repping up 50 hit points a second. T2 and missile on board. But it does look like those ASFs are able to save that comm from a couple of shots. Unfortunately, there's another group inbound. Drops his Sizolan. And it looks like Continental will be shot down. A couple of ASF right on its tail. And all those engineers are knocked out of the sky. Isn't able to save it in time. Tiny little air skirmish in the middle of the map here. Looks like it's going to be pretty much dead even there in terms of what units were killed on what side in terms of numbers. I think it would have happened essentially regardless if there was a transport there or not. Team 1 has invaded Team 2's territory on the land. Normandy is underway. Team 2 has lost Navy in the entire northeastern sector, especially with the facility knocked out by those Torp bombers from Sizolan. In the southwest, the only naval facility online is Big Boy Daddy's facility. He's getting more online all the time. But it's not looking good for Team 2's side of the map for Navy. And again, there's a lot more landmass than that other map previously. So it's going to be a little bit more of a slog to get through. At least that's what I feel like. There's more landmass than the other map, but I could be wrong. Air grid being actually not expanded upon, just sticking with the one T3 air headquarters. We do see that Balfour is going for more of an expanded air grid. Transport being built by him as well. And lots of some Lobos and Archers coming online. So it looks like he's going to prep for a drop here shortly. The best avenue of attack would probably be the northeastern corner, because Rye Guys is definitely going to be on the prowl or on the lookout for some drops inbound from Team 2, just because he's faced a couple of them. Another drop, speaking of which, inbound from Will-O-Wisp moving in. It is going to get shot down. Oh, it doesn't get shot down. ASF is going to move in and intercept. Oh, 250 hit points remaining. The engineers do land, immediately build PD. Looks like they're going to build some Ravagers. I don't think that's going to work. Transport inbound from Team 1. Sizolan going to drop off some nearby Yenzine. And that Ravager is not going to really work out. Team 1 PD immediately built. Missile takes out a couple of those engineers. And a couple of those Yenzine do get reclaimed as well. Needs to get a shield emplacement to really save this amount of engineers. Another engineer is going to be taken offline. Buzzkill's, of course, going to be built, but I don't think it's going to be built in time. The engineer has to move or it's a dead unit and it gets killed off anyways. Man, Will-O-Wisp is just dropping units in, causing a lot of havoc, but Team 1 is really quick to respond to all of the nonsense from Willow. So it's just one of those scenarios where I love the just ballsiness of Willow, but it's just not working out in his favor. He does get the drop successful most of the time, but doesn't just get a lot of damage done. That is the hard part. Looks like the missile was taken out. And that is a Continental escorting Tabernacle. He's on a transport. Don't tell me you can fire that from the transport. I feel like that'd be a little OP. Looks like he just got on board, so yeah, it doesn't look like you can fire it, but they were definitely firing from this direction, so we'll just have to take a look out for that. Looks like Team 2 has pretty much kicked off SEAL Force's position over here. Torp Bomber's still over here hanging out, but again, they're not really a huge threat. One ASF or even one Janus or something could easily go over there and just wipe them all out, but all the ASF will go in and take out all of those air forces over there. The missile bombardment is underway here from Team 1's UEF and Seraphim forces, which means Team 2 has to build those TMD immediately. There are some already online from the missile attacks from Tabernacle, but probably not enough as of right now. 23 minutes on the clock here. Team 1 has not lost a player as of yet. They have all 6 of their starting players remaining. Team 2 has only lost Mav early on in the game, so it is a 6v5. Team 1 is back in the lead for mass generation lead. think I said that right, for about 1,000 mass. Team 2 at 950, 930. We'll just say 925, so 75 mass more ahead for Team 1 than Team 2. Map control definitely in favor of Team 1. Team 1 has essentially the entire part of the naval section of this combat really in their favor. Nothing going on here for Team 2 in the northeast. Nothing going on in the middle. The only bright spot for Team 2 in Navy is down here in the southwest. But let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win at 24 minutes on the clock here. Thank you so very much for watching to this point in the video, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of it. We do see that transport has now dropped off more engineers. He's going to build PD or shield. They're sure taking a while. We're going to build PD first, and then shield. Looks like he's going to build a radar system. Another PD emplacement. There is the comm of right, guys. He's like, will you just stop doing this? It is annoying. Shield is going to be built pretty quickly, but overcharge kills off all but one engineer. Ooh, that was not great here for Team 2's Will-O-Wisp was dropped. Man, that's it was a good attempt. Right, guys does drop to, decent levels in the yellow territory, but he will get veterancy from this. So he'll get back up pretty close to the green mark here shortly once that triad goes in. Yep, look at that, right below the 75% mark. Team 2's Navy is not looking good here. And some tactical missile launcher-based cruisers are really just giving Team 2 a hard time. The southwestern sector of the map. We do see a transport has been successful from Team 2's Will-O-Wisp in the northeastern corner. Has now kicked out Team 1 SEAL Force's main base. We do see some artillery has been built. Ravagers, shields. It looks like it's a little bit of AA creep as well. Team 2 is really probably happy about this. Willow specifically, like, yes, finally after 5, 6, 7 drops, it finally works. We do see Rim over here as well, leading the charge as well. He has to be very careful. He's going to run into SEAL Force, but SEAL Force has no upgrades on board, and Rim has Nano, Splash, and his regular gun on board. SEAL Force is, that's a lot of hit points to lose per shot, and that's a dead comm. There he goes. Team 1 loses their first player of the match at 27 minutes. Which means most of his stuff will probably go to Saison anyways. But look at this. Tabernacle was nearby. Almost got a double kill here for Reem. But he's going to get a lot of engineer kills here. Probably get up to 5-star veterancy before he's done. Missile outbound is going to strike the commander. He's now at 100 even hit points per second. Strap bomber over top is going to strike that commander as well. Immediately shot down. More strap bombers. One does launch its payload. Will hit the comm. The comm has to retreat to nearby shield protection, or he's going to get killed off here shortly. AA being built to try to counteract the ASF from Team 2. And Tabernacle launching more missiles. It's going to keep Rim on his toes. We do see a nice little destroyer missile outbound, but it's going to miss. Looks like they're inbound from that cruiser nearby. Oh, Reem is not really doing super well in terms of the hit point count. Another bomber is inbound. One more will kill him. And if that bomber is able to get another shot off, he's a dead comm for Team 2. Oh, the bomber strays into AA protection. Oh, it's going to be a dead comm here for Team 2. There he goes. I love the attempt. The bomber dies as it passes over the target. Team 2 loses another player. It is now a 5v4 in favor of Team 1. But, of course, Team 1 has lost an entire base worth of eco, and as well spending a lot of its energy, specifically buttons, to deter this incoming land threat from Will-O-Wisp. Again, it gives a lot of time for Team 2 to rebuild, to rearm, to re-put stuff down, and kind of get back into the Navy game most likely. Maybe that'll happen. We see T3 Navy is online for buttons and a Kiefer-class aircraft carrier. Another one online here. Looks like he's getting those donated over to by Team 1 Saison for producing ASF. We do see T3 online as well for Ninra. And still, I was going to say still the facilities online, but no, Team 1 has now officially claimed the entire water of the map for themselves. They are the owners of the high seas. We'll see if that stays that way. Transport does drop off another group of units, and it is that group of Lobos we saw being built earlier on. Lots of just transporting units over the map here for Team 2. Team 1 is able to counter it a little bit, but PD in terms of the Cerberus, definitely the best choice, at least for me, in terms of Team 1 units. It's going to really help out. Unfortunately here for Team 2's Balfron. It doesn't do a lot of damage, takes out a mech or two, but that's really it. And this facility is still online. We do see Buttons charging forward with a cloaking and laser commander, which will tell him that Team 2's Will-O-Wisp has an Omni sensor online because they can shoot at him. You can see that is the range of the Omni. And they don't know what the target is. They just know that they can shoot at it, which means Buttons is in full retreat. He doesn't lose that many hit points, but a chicken online for Saizoan. That's going to shape things up in favor of Team 1 in this northeastern corner. Again, this is more about delaying than anything else. I don't think Willow is expecting to keep this position long term, especially with a T3 naval headquarters right here that could easily produce some omens and just bombard that position. A couple of the strap bombers have been built and replaced here by Tabernacle. ASF are moving in. Gunships assisting the movement westward. There is a group of cruisers trying to intercept, but looks like they maybe will get one broadsword, maybe. Looks like he desperately doesn't want Team 1 to know about it. Tactical Billy Nuke has been started here by Tabernacle underneath that T3 naval headquarters. The chicken actually is taking a lot more damage than I thought it would be, but it's gonna make it through this position quite nicely. The Omni is the most important thing to take out. Once that's gone, the combo Buttons doesn't have to worry about being sniped. Well, he has his cloak up. T2 artillery coming in to assist as well. There goes the Omni. I think that position is done and dusted. But in the west, Team 1's Ryguy is killed off by some broadswords by Willow. He went in for the snipe while a lot of the focus was going down over here. It is now an even game at 4v4. Team 2, 1.4k mass income. Team 1, 1.1. And I will point out, Team 2 has lost a decent amount of mexes on the front line, but still winning the mass game, which means they're producing a ton of either RASCOMs or mass fabs or both. Dual nuke launchers online, because why not for Balfron? Why not have one when you can have two? And you're going to put a bunch of P-gens next to them. That's going to be very, very volatile, but it could work out. One is half loaded. One is just barely built. Needs more P-gen juice. I was going to say strength, but juice. Needs that energy. Needs that kick in the pants kind of thing. Looks like he has enough online to keep the shield online. Definitely needs more shielding, of course, because a couple of strap bombers will wipe that out very quickly. The facility in the northeast has now been officially wiped out by the chicken. Chicken has 2-star veterancy because of it. But again, how much time, how much effort, how much mass was spent to the dealing with that at the cost of Will-O-Wisp, a couple of engineers, and a little bit of time and APM. We do see that officially Team 1 has been knocked out of the eastern side or northeastern side of Team 2's landmass, but another facility has replaced it in the middle. We do see a nice little shield grid, shield base online, decent amount of PD, decent amount of AA in the mix. Would love to see some Ravagers here just from a little bit better range. But these are mainly, these are Rhinos, not Wagners, so that's not a huge issue. But there are some Vipers in there, so that Ravager would come in quite handedly, but there isn't one in there currently here for Dorset. Duke has been pointed out here by Team 1's Buttons, and yes, it has been built, or almost been built here by Team 2's Dorset, and it's been built quite far forward, and that's partly due to the fact that because of the size of the map, look at that. That's where he's put it so far forward, and he can only hit up to here. The T3 air grid up here to the northwest is perfectly fine, and of course there is a nuke next to that traditional formation of P-gens. Possible artillery might be placed there. Possible game ender might be placed there. Something might be placed there. Talking about nukes, of course, Team 2's first nuke is going to be loaded here shortly. Looks like they're going to just spam load it. Does Team 1 have adequate SMD protection? There is one there. It is not loaded. There is one. There's also a nuke here, excuse me, not an SMD. And nuke is outbound. It's going to nuke Team 1's nuke. That SMD will be fine and will probably load fast enough to deal with the second nuke from Team 2. But the first one of the game from Balfron is going to land and is not going to feel good on Team 1's side. Artillery started by Tabernacle over there. We do see something going on over there. Looks like it's just a couple of Lobos sitting there for Will-O-Wisp, distracting some artillery. And of course, it does take a while. SMD very far forward here as well for Ninra, but it's not going to help. SMD, yeah, it's definitely not load in time. Cloaking has been started by Big Boy Daddy's commander. And Satellite has been started by Willow. And his artillery is done as well, so we have 2 artillery pieces online for Team 2. One is further back, which means it's not going to do as much damage to Team 1's side of the map. But again, it can take out the T3 naval headquarters. And there goes the nuke. Kaboom! Takes out the nuke, takes out essentially most of the grid. Where they knock back Team 1's air power. Of course, he does have some strap bombers built, so maybe he'll go for some nukage on Team 2, or maybe he'll go for the artillery pieces. We'll just have to wait and see. It looks like the shot's going... Do not tell me T3 artillery is trying to strike at aircraft carriers. Please do not tell me that's what you're doing, Willow. No? Yeah, that is what he's doing. Huh. Well, we'll see how that works out for him. I highly doubt it'll kill any off. Look at the essentially spread of the artillery. It's really going to miss a lot of its shots. Still missile launching nonsense here from Team 1's cruisers, just really impacting Team 2's ability to get back into the Navy if they even choose to do so at this point. 2 players have already gone for artillery. Will we see a game into this map? Is a full 20 by 20, so it could warrant it. Looks like the artillery from Dorset is trying to take out the nuke from Team 1. The nuke is almost loaded. The SMD should be, and it is loaded. And it does look like... Oh, it's going to hit a little bit west, but it doesn't hit the SMD. Tabernacle looks like he's kind of suffering on power. Oh, that is a bad time to lose your power. Oh, ooh, that was very close. Needs to get that shield back online. Ooh, that was... Ooh, that would have been bad. Had it been just a little bit further west, that would have been a dead nuke, most likely. I think it's 1-shot kill on the nuke, I believe. I could be wrong. In the middle of the map, just TMD versus Vipers. Again, really not going Team 2's way, but no real big issue so far. Satellite has also been started by Dorset. I keep confusing Dorset and Battlefront. Satellite almost done here for Willow. Second. Oh, it's a second artillery, and there it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I've been waiting for a while. T4 Game Ender of the Mavor variety has now been queued up. We'll see if it gets actually finished, but, you know, it may not be, which wouldn't be the first time that's happened. Second artillery here says, right, guys. Looks like Team 2 is roughly spotted where that artillery is. Second nuke, almost loaded. Lots of PGens to assist with power consumption and whatnot. You can see just the massive drop in power. 2,100 for that one, 3,100 for that one, so almost 1,000 power. We do see Nuke is outbound. And where is it going? Because it does depend where it ends up landing or trying to go to. This nuke is not going to get shot down by that SMD. Has it been edge nuked? Oh, has it? No way it's been edge nuked. I feel like that's still one. That could be close. There is a Scathis that has been started by Buttons as well. So 2 game enders have been spotted so far. It's going to be close. I think the nuke from Team 2 is going to just barely scrape that edge. We do see Strap Bomber stacking up over here in the middle for Tabernacle, essentially hiding in the midst of all those ASF. Will the SMD fire? And a nuke does launch it from Team 1's Tabernacle. The SMD does fire. Oh, that's unfortunate. Mavor 20% at 38. Love to see that comment here from Right Guys. He's like, hey, this is 20%. This is the stage that it's at. This is the game ender. I love that little message there. Very, very beneficial to know. And the nuke is going to land and take out a satellite and an artillery piece, which means Team 1's artillery is... No, it's not online. Oh, Strap Bombers most likely. Yeah, it looks like Strap Bombers and Chicken. Looks like that was the 2 things that came in. But kaboom! Takes out that base. All of that mass and energy just wiped out. Very unfortunate. But no. It does look like the Strap Bombers are fine. It looks like it was just the Chicken that was built way earlier on to deal with Willow's insurgents. Another nuke should be almost loaded here pretty shortly by this little grouping of nuke launchers. We do see Mavor is almost at 20% here for Team 2. problem, says Ninra. I don't know what problem he has. Willow ACU, says Tabernacle. He's going for SACU. I don't... Oh, I was just saying he's been pointing out the SACU. I don't know what the problem is for Ninra. I don't know what he's talking about. Lots of TMD firing at that. Just barrage of missiles. Summit's online. I mean, at this point, that's so we got 16 Ambassador class strategic bombers, and we have 7 Revenants. So what was that? 23. So we have 2 squadrons of bombers that will wipe out anything pretty much. And I feel like they're going to go for either the artillery or Willow's comm or both. ASFs are going to screen for the bombers. 2 times Nuke, says Willow. That might be the target. Nuke is about to fire. And what is it going for? Looks like it's going to go for that position. Once again, SMD has not been loaded, but this SMD should be loaded. It is, so that SMD will shoot down that Nuke. Strap bombers are inbound. There goes that Nuke from Balfron. And the bombers are the target priority of the ASF and the SAM sites, or the AA emplacements, the T3 AA. And airfight will occur, of course, on Team 2 side of the map, so all of those bombers will be added to Team 2's pile of mass to consume. A couple of strap bombers did break through. It's not enough to pierce the shielding, though. Willow's going to move his comm, or he's going to be confident in his shielding. He's confident in his shielding. There go the bombers. He's actually able to just stand there and scoop up mass. Look at that. 1 SMD, says Ninra. And I am empty right now mid. Oh, maybe that's what Ninra's commenting about, how he doesn't have a lot of SMDs. Well, this one is 2/3 the way loaded. Scathis at 25% plus. Team 2's Mavor almost at 50%. So it might come down to the Mavor versus the Scathis. Tellability for Willow. No gun, says Mav. He hasn't gone for tellability. He has RAS and T3, so maybe trying to just keep his comm protected and get a little bit more mass into his coffers. Team 1 now in the lead for mass income, 1.6 versus 1.6, so it's a little bit of a tie, but slightly in favor of Team 1. Air grid has been re-expanded upon just a little bit. Nuke, of course, spam loading that. Looks like the artillery is still being built ever so slightly. I would love to see all of this focus, at least from the artillery, dropped to the Scathis to really load that or build that quicker. Feel like that'd be a little bit more important. Satellite online here for Sizone as well. He's going for his own artillery piece. We do see artillery still inbound from Team 2. Looks like a secondary one was built. Or was that was that just a regular? Oh, no, because I see the one down here. That's the one next to the Mavor, but I do not see another one. Unless I am blind, which is entirely possible. Okay, Willow, you're really trying to take out the Kiefer class aircraft carriers. I don't know what your beef is with them, but no idea. Game is squatted down ever slow, just slightly. We see that, of course, the naval incursion isn't really affecting anything more just because everything in range is just already decimated. Telly inside the shield didn't fire. When it hits the shield, the explosion goes inside. Could be wrong. Yes, that actually is true. So if the Billy Nuke fires and impacts the shield inside the shield, it does explode. So it's essentially the same way the other way. So if it were to impact the outer side of the shield, it explodes the same way the other way. But Big Boy Daddy is defeated by buttons. And looks like Big Boy Daddy teleports in and just immediately dies. Looks like he was going for the SMD and gets denied. Looks like the strap bombers killed him. Sad, says Mav. It was an attempt, I will agree. The only way he got over there was the telemazer. That's the only way I can think of. Crab tries to make it onto land, but gets denied by smaller other crab-like or spider-like units. There is a comm of Tabernacle down here. He has Billy. He's launching it. Lasers over here, taking out a couple of pigeons. T3 gunships are inbound. And I don't think... He's not loaded. Oh, that's unfortunate. That comm is going to die here. He tried to make an attempt, but It's not going to work out here for Tabernacle. He did a great job with his missiles earlier in the game, just could not get the Billy Nuke to work in that regard. And there goes Team 1's player. It's a 3v3 tied-up game here once again at 44 minutes. Mavor is in the green. We could see a Mavor built here in the game. Second satellite now online for Team 2. It's now Dorset and Balfron sharing a nice little shield grid over there. Buttons gains control of everything that Tabernacle have, and he's actually going to assist the regular artillery first and then go for the Scathis that maybe he just has master burn. No, he doesn't have master burn, so no real issue there. He has one nuke loaded. He is saving it. We do see another SMD built here. Team 1 has their own artillery over here, actually. And there is an SMD almost loaded. That one is loaded, so Team 2's nukes will be curtailed for the time being. A lot of AA being spammed up here by Balfron to just, of course, protect and layer AA to really impact Team 1's bombing run capabilities. You can see the strap bombers being like, no, not going that way. Lots of AA and Team D built over here as well. SMD heavily protected underneath a couple of shielding. We see some Wagners coming in. Oh, actually, no, these are regular Rhinos, not Wagners. Looks like they are getting underneath the shield. That's not great. Team 1 PD going to be spammed up. Their main target should be that SMD. One SMD is loaded. And it doesn't look like the Rhinos are focusing on the anything else but the artillery, it looks like. And those will be dealt with quite nicely here by the rapid response of Dorset's APM. Artillery is targeting the Mavor. The Mavor is under fire. Same thing with the Duke. But more shields are being replaced here by Willow. Of course, it's one artillery and a satellite. Actually, there could be two satellites. Maybe at this point here for Team 1. Nope, just the one. And that is going to be a big problem for Team 2's Mavor. If that comes into range, takes out the shielding alone, that's not great here for that Mavor. And that Mavor is about to be finished as well. I do hear some more shooting going on. Nope, there it is. There's that chicken. SMD is going to go down. That's kind of unfortunate, but there are backup SMDs along the way. So no real issue there, but they do lose an outlying SMD nonetheless. This position has been bombarded for quite some time now. Shields are down on this eastern edge, though. You could take out the emitters. And the emitters over here are down as well. Oh, it's not great for Ninra's position. Artillery going to land, but the shields come back online at the last second and saves a couple more emitters. Oh, Pigeon's going to explode, but shield comes back online. This one's going to come back online. More Pigeons, more shields. This one's actually being reclaimed so it doesn't explode and kill everything else off. But the Mavor is almost done. Is Team 1's Scathis done? No, but it's almost done. It's going to finish before the Mavor. Very unfortunate. Of course, the downside with the Scathis is it's a widespread kind of shotgun blast, while the Mavor is a nice little precise scalpel. Or you could call I usually use the baseball bat versus the scalpel as the analogy I give. So that's more of a very wide, very annoying baseball bat versus a very precise scalpel. First volley is outbound. I'm assuming it's going for the Mavor. That's the only target that's really that important, at least to start with. Pigeons have been reclaimed, but of course the Mavor is now done. So it is the classic Mavor versus Scathis. And we can see its long barrel essentially overshadowing its bigger brother, or sorry, its little brother. Look at that thing. I mean, the UEF have to be compensating for something with that thing. Look at that. Ninra comments that the Mavor is done. But just look at how just much bigger and taller that artillery is versus the Duke. Look at that thing. It is massive. If I can push the right buttons, there we go. And of course, shields, and more shields here for Team 2 and for Team 1. If the Mavors do not land, Mavors, don't go after the Scathis, that is a very big missed opportunity. But maybe, I don't know. It looks like it's going to go for the Duke here for Ninra. Don't agree with this. It's going to come in. It's going to take out a couple of emitters, and then the satellites will come in and wipe out the rest of the emitters. Oh, it gets right underneath the shielding as it finishes coming back online. I mean, he's got to know about the Scathis at this point. I mean, Team 2 can literally see it. They can see a Mavor being built by Buttons as well. So anything you can do, I can do better. What's going on here for Buttons? It built a lot of shielding, though. Mavor has to die, says Tabernacle. Well, yeah, the same could be said about the Scathis. Scathis firing once again. Team 2 has 3 satellites and more going to be built all the time now. Don't like the P-Gen sitting next to it, though, but that's just me. Mavor shots are inbound. But again, it's a widespread attack, and it's actually hitting the middle of this, so it's trying to clip Willow's comm, Battlefront's comm, Dorset's comm, the 2 nukes, and the Mavor, so it's really not getting anything done. This nuke is almost loaded. This nuke is loaded. And I think the SMD in the middle is not even knocked out. Is that the Mavor? No, it was probably a Duke shot. I just don't get... Oh, there it goes. Oh, they took out the air grid. That's what he went for. Mex is going to go offline. Nope, going to barely miss the Mexes. So it looks like the power reserves is what Willow is targeting. 25,000 power, though, is a lot to chew. Oh, it's starting to drop, though. He has a Duke online now. Once again, this Duke is still being built after a while. Awassaw Bomber... I don't know where its cousin went, but it went somewhere. Ooh, Scathis shots are starting to rain around the Mavor, though. Looks like, unfortunately, the shields are strong enough to really withstand all of that. And it just comes down to who can break the shielding first. Looks like the Mavor is going to target the Mavor being built by Buttons. We'll actually take out a couple of SACUs because of that. We'll take out another P-Gen as well. Another shot should be inbound. Oh, it's going to hit over here. Shield grid is starting to collapse. There is, of course, a satellite overhead to say, hey, I can see what's going on. Shields are collapsing very, very quickly here. Mavor is devastating against shielding. You really don't want to face a Mavor when you have weak shielding. Even if you have strong shielding, it just is not great to deal with. You got to assist a lot of emitters. Oh, I thought I saw teleporting commanders from Team 1, but only Buttons can do that. I thought I saw 2 of them there. Now, don't gaslit Mav. He's like, what's going on over there? I have 2 nukes loaded, says Battlefront. He could fire both of them. That SMD over here is down. And this SMD, there should be one in this mix. At least there was one at some point. Maybe it actually got taken offline. Oh, it's right there. There it is. It has 1 loaded. There isn't another one. This nuke over here is loaded. Almost has a second one loaded. The shield grid is starting to collapse. The Scathis has taken a hit quite severely. Ooh, that might not be great here for Team 1. If the Scathis goes offline, that might be the game here for Team 2. Ooh, that's not great. The Omni being taken offline. Very interesting. Just taking off some intel gathering. Seraphim shields are being deployed. Anything and everything trying to help keep the Scathis online. And I think the nukes should just launch at this point. Even if they get shot down, at least trying to keep Team 1 focused on other things. A Yolana Os, because why not Willow at this point? Why not 51 minutes on the clock? That makes me think somebody in the Aeon department's building a Paragon somewhere. Oh, look, there's one of that Awassaw Bomber over there. Wasn't even used. I don't know if it will get used at this point. Are you aiming for nuke defense, says Mav? I mean, he could. The nuke defense is right there. I think he's talking about the satellites specifically. The shields are starting to hold. Not a lot of shielding's being built over here, though. I'd love to see a little bit more. But this grid over here, Battlefront lost his air grid. Keeps his satellites, though. This one almost died. Less than 500 hit points remaining. Reduce the invasion of some Salem, so it's only going to reclaim from Mavor Ninra, says Tabernacle. Oh, I mean, that's interesting. We had some Salems come in and just get eaten by some by some hives. Oh, the shielding's not starting to hold anymore. But is the Scathis down? The Scathis is not down. It's actually down to 12,000 hit points. It's being assisted as we speak to repair itself, but not repair itself, but be repaired. SMD is still alive. Once the SMD goes down, that is it. Both nukes are probably going to launch immediately. Oh, the shield is down. The shields are... Oh, it comes back online. Oh, there comes the Mavor shot. Takes out the SMD. Do the nukes launch immediately? Do they launch? Scathis fire raining in. Willow's still perfectly fine. Is building more shields, though. More emitters going down for Battlefront and Dorset's commanders. The nuke defense is down. There goes that Mavor shot across the screen. You gotta fire those. You gotta fire those nukes at this point. I mean, obviously, I know, I mean, everybody else knows what's going on. There goes the nuke launch on top of the Scathis. Another nuke gonna launch over here, and that's gonna kill off both of the bases. It will still probably clip the Duke. I think if he went a little bit further east, it would have clipped the combo buttons. But with those dual nuke launches inbound, that's the only thing that will really affect the game at this point is if Team 2's loses their Mavor and Willow's shields are going down. He'll be fine, though. He can just hide underneath his own shielding or Dorset and Balfron's. But those two nukes are outbound. SMD isn't loaded. Of course, this SMD isn't loaded. This SMD is inconsequential. And there goes the everything. Satellite does get taken out eventually here by Team 1. It will crash land on top of an emitter, maybe. Oh, and the nuke does launch just in time. Kaboom! And kaboom! Oh, no, look. The Duke is perfectly fine. But with that, Team 1 loses a huge chunk of their offensive long-range power. Is that Duke gonna... Nope, still not done yet. Still being built for a while. Satellite's still online. Duke going to be built here, actually in the yellow so far. Oh, that's just... No. That is a no to that Mavor. There it goes. And it's going to go down. Team 1 does not have SMDs loaded. Nuke is going to be fine. Looks like two bombers were coming in to try to take out the Mavor, but it was just way too late. Team 2's Willow had so many ASFs built. 400, in fact, and then some. So it just wasn't going to chew through. It wasn't going to be able to not chew through anything. Dorset gets the GGs out. Sizoan sends the GGs out. There goes the nuke. Kaboom! Takes out that position. How much mass have those two nukes killed off? 262,000. That was the Scathis one. Oh, no. Maybe 278,000. So between these two, over 500 mass killed. Now...
Strategic launch detected.
Oh, another nuke's going to launch anyway, so that number will probably actually go up. Sizoan's thinking about it. He's like, yeah, it's probably time to leave. No yellow bar to indicate the surrender. Is Team 1 going to just wait it out and die by Mavor shots, or are they just going to teleport out? What's going to happen with Team 1? Team 2 could still lose it, but not with the AA coverage, not with the ASF coverage. I mean, it would have to be SMDs get taken offline. There's a hidden nuke somewhere or just a bunch of nuke subs. Ninra control Ks, seeing the game is pretty much over at this point. It's a 3v2. First time in the game that Team 2 is losing. There goes buttons, so Team 1 is winning. SMD does shoot down the nuke, so that was something. But what I meant by that is this is the first time that Team 2 is leading the game and comms left alive. Sizoan's going to go for teleporter. He's just going to go balls to the wall at this point. At this point, I'm just going to speed things up because we can kind of tell which way this game is going. And is he going to teleport? Nukes have 270 mass kill. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of mass kill with those two nukes. Oh, there goes the... Hold on. There goes the teleportation. Let me slow down a little bit. Teleporter's going straight... Oh, straight for Willow, it looks like. Willow, again, has 15,000 hit points. Sizoan has 12,000 hit points. He might actually get Willow's comm. There are some Ravagers in range, which will save Willow. It wouldn't have mattered because Balfron and Dorset had enough PD protection to really be fine. But Team 2 wins the game with not really a lot of map control at this point. Team 1 loses it, unfortunately. They got Navy. Just Team 2 went for the Mavor a little bit sooner than Team 1 went for the Scathis. The Scathis probably wasn't the best choice. Mavor definitely would have been better. I think if Team 1 went for the Mavor T4 artillery, they would have won because they would have killed off Team 2's Mavor, and then it would have been it, especially with the shield grid that was right there. The shields for Team 2 were kind of lacking in terms of count, in terms of if it was a Mavor v. Mavor kind of situation. But Team 2's Willow, I feel like I got to give it to him this game. He did a decent job with the transporting in units just to distract Team 1. He went for the artillery. Not really great in terms of range. Don't know why he went for the aircraft carriers, but he just wanted to. But he built the Mavor. It broke through the shielding, helped the satellites take out the SMD. Nuke, though, Battlefront did such a good job with those two nukes, though. 270,000 per nuke launcher, over 500,000 mass killed. I mean, between those two players right there, that was a huge percentage of Team 2's win. But I do think because of the Mavor specifically, that is what kept Team 2 in the game and then won them the game. The nukes were kind of the nice, not necessarily icing on the top, but they were the nice coating over the main cake that was Willow's Mavor. Essentially, it was a nice. I don't know what I'm trying to say with that. Again, the point is that Mavor, I think, was the most defining thing of Team 2, and then the nukes were second, and then the satellites were third, because they really kind of kept the shields constantly being hit, and they couldn't, they have to wait a little bit to regen. Anyways, before I just blabber on more, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see all of you in the next one.